Hi guys, so this is day 58 of the RC practice series. In the first paragraph, author suggests that the majority should not be invested with absolute unchecked powers. In the second paragraph, he furthers that idea. Unrestrained powers may lead to tyranny. In the third paragraph, he starts talking particularly of the democratic institutions in India and says they're not weak, rather they're too powerful, too strong to prevent tyranny. There are no sure checks against them. In the fourth paragraph, he furthers that idea and says that all institutions are representations of the majority. There's no sure barrier to prevent tyranny. To the questions now. Question number one, title of the passage, most appropriate title. The tyranny of the majority may be democracy, triumph of the people. It's opposite in tone to what the passage suggests. Democracy is not triumph of the people. In fact, it is also flawed. Abuses of power. Now, this is too broad. Abuses of power by whom? So it misses an important point, abuses of power by the majority. Therefore, this is too broad, too generalized. Option D, the failure of democracy in India. Well, democracy in India has not really failed. It is just that they may be unrestrained powers with the democratic institutions, and that may lead to tyranny. That's author's concern. Democracy has not really failed in India. Also, this point is too narrow. Author's focus is not on the democratic structure in India, the democratic institutions in India. They are merely an example to present his bigger point that any majority should not be vested with the absolute powers. So that's therefore A should be the correct answer. Which of the following best paraphrases the author statement, the third sentence of paragraph 1? The third sentence in paragraph 1 is men are not apt to change their characters by agglomeration, nor does their patience in the presence of obstacles increase with the consciousness of their strength. Okay. Option A, individuals do not change their behavior. That's correct. When they act in concert with others, that is agglomeration, who are like minded. Okay. And knowing they are acting as part of the group, consciousness, that's knowing they're acting as part of the group, they are not likely to show greater restraint. Okay, their patience does not change when opposed, that is obstacles, than they would if they were acting individually. That's the idea. So option A should be the correct answer. Groups are not different from one another. Well, groups are not different from an individual. They may be different from one another, but they are not different from the individuals who constitute that group. So this is factually incorrect. Individuals do not change their behavior, correct, even when they act in concert with others. That's correct. Who are like-minded, correct. And the knowledge that they are acting as part of the group, okay, is likely to make them more impatient. That's a factual twist. Their patience does not increase. That does not mean their impatience increases. Therefore, factually incorrect. Individuals behave all the same in a group, okay, and power vested in them makes them show greater restraint. It's the opposite. Their patience does not increase. So, and option D says it makes them show greater restraint. So, opposite. Correct answer, option A. Which of the following statements would the author of the passage be most likely to agree? Okay. Option A, democracy is no greater defense against a tyranny than is monarchy or aristocracy. That should be correct. He says when the right to and the means of absolute command are conferred on a people or a king, on an aristocracy or a democracy, a monarchy or a republic. So everyone, every form of government, every representation is the same. Absolute, whenever absolute power is conferred on any particular institution, it may lead to tyranny. So democracy is no greater defense against tyranny than is monarchy or aristocracy. Minority rule would probably be more responsive, alien idea. No government should be trusted since all governments are equally tyrannical. They are not tyrannical. They may become tyrannical. The germ of tyranny is there. Also, no government should be trusted. No government based on majority rule or with absolute power should be trusted. Whichever form of government is vested with absolute power, that should not be trusted. Since one social power must always predominate over others, okay, it is futile to provide checks and balances. This is opposite to what the author says. Author emphasizes the need for checks and balances rather than say that it is futile to present or to provide checks and balances in the government. Okay. Which is the following, assuming that each is true, would weaken the point that the author is making in the last two paragraphs of the passage. Okay. In the last two paragraphs, author says that all the institutions are actually representations of the majority. So there is no check and balance. Last sentence. There is no sure barrier established to defend against the misuse of power by the majority or by the authorities. Okay. They are all representations of the majority. Now, to weaken this, we have to prove that what he thinks is not the case. Option A, the framers of the Indian Constitution deliberately separated the three branches of the government to prevent tyranny. Well, they might have deliberately separated the three branches, but that does not weaken the author's argument because the author believes that even these the three branches are ultimately representations of the majority only. Even if the goal of the framers of the Indian Constitution was uh, something else, it has not come to fruition, and practically, in reality, today, they all represent the majority only. That's what the author believes. Option B, there's not a single majority in India. Okay. There are many majorities, each composed of a different collection of individuals, and each acting as a restraint on the other. Now, that is something which would weaken the author's argument because author says that all these institutions, legislature, the judiciary, the public troops, everybody is a representative of the majority. But if there is no single majority in India, there are many majorities, and each majority acts as a check on or a restraint on the other. The last line is defeated. There is a sure barrier, sort of, kind of. So option B should be the correct answer. First Amendment to the Indian Constitution specifically guarantees the right of each citizen to petition the government for redress of grievances. It is irrelevant because author says even if you redress the grievance, the judiciary also constitutes the majority. So that point is not weakened by option C. Even though India is an indirect democracy, all Indian citizens have an equal opportunity to participate in political life and to hold public office. Now, that again is irrelevant because that does not weaken the point that ultimately the institutions would represent the majority. Option B should be the correct answer. Primary concern of the passage. Option A, challenging a commonly held belief. Maybe the main evil of the present democratic institution does not arise from its weakness, but from their overpowering strength, as is often asserted, which means widely held belief. Author is trying to negate, challenge it, maybe. That is the correct answer. Contrasting two opposing views, there are no two opposing views, so this is alien. Advocating a course of action. Author has not really specified any course of action. It's maintained that a barrier needs to be established, that's it. But how, we don't know, so he does not advocate any course of action. Reconciling an apparent conflict, there's no conflict. This part is also alien. All right, this is too specific and beyond the scope. So we'll have to come back to A. Which of the following would the author most approve of? Okay, let's see. Option A, the dissolution of all forms of majoritarian governments, including the democracy. The dissolution of government. Okay, now this is an extreme argument. Author probably does not want a dissolution. Let's see if we can find out something milder than this. Independence of the judiciary from the legislature, he would approve of it, definitely. But the question says, would the author most approve of? Okay, maybe we have a better answer choice. Restraints, okay, to the powers vested with all the democratic institutions. Wow. Now this is the last line essentially. There is no sure barrier. So the entire passage is about the checks and balances, and therefore C should be the best option. Restraints, author would agree, or we would approve of the restraints to the power vested with all the democratic institutions, not just judiciary, not just the legislative, but all the democratic institutions should be restrained in powers. There should not be any absolute power. A rule of the minority, well, this is alien, so author would not approve of this. A was extreme. Author does not want that every form of government or democratic government be dissolved. Just that there should be enough checks and balances to keep it from growing into tyranny. That is what he says. Hope you got all of them right. Keep improving. Cheers to learning.